Alright guys, we're going to look at No Woman No Cry for guitar. Now, in the live version, I don't even hear any guitars. Probably back there, I can't hear it in the mix. Maybe you can. I found some studio versions where the guitars are doing different things, but none of them sounded as good as that live version. But, if we're going to play an instrument in a piece of music and there's not that instrument in it regularly, we got to think, what does our instrument sound like? How would it fit into the mix? Now you can just plow through and just use full chords. But again, that's not really music. That's just hammering away at chords. So, a common reggae thing is a nice, choppy, brisk sound. This kind of plays equivalent if the bass guitar is like the kick pedal in a drum set. We'd be playing like the snare or the hi-hat, something like that. Something that's offbeat, that's the backbeat. Or at least counterposed to what the bass is doing in the rhythmic makeup of the song. Which brings me up to, how does the instrument fit in with other instruments? There's only a couple different things it can do. It can do the same thing other instruments is doing. It can double up on it. Led Zeppelin does that a lot with the bass and guitar and gives a nice, heavy, full sound. And you can't really differentiate between the two instruments, but you just have that upper register and lower register doing the exact same thing. Very fat, very thick. And that's good sometimes. Another thing your instrument can do is it can play something different in the holes that the other instrument's leaving. So you don't have great big gaping holes, but you don't just have just like a solid of sound the whole time either. It's bouncing back and forth between the different things. So that's probably more of what the guitar will be doing in this situation. But you can't get that choppy reggae sound if you just play open chords. Because even if you strum the chord, lift your hand up, a lot of those notes are still ringing. So you can't really kill it. So you gotta learn a different chord. So this song is got C, so we can't use an open C. So we'll take an open A, slide it up to B flat, B, C. That's gonna be a C chord. And we need to put our first finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd fret string. So A, B, C, and then put the other fingers down here to make a C chord. If we strum that and lift it up, it gives a nice choppy sound. So that's the reggae stuff. So we could, as we're playing through the song, we could do something as simple as C. So something like that. Or if we want to do something a little different, we could go. So since we're going, and that's the sound we're going for. If you want to do it in an upper register, you could do it up there as well. But that's just a. It's almost like you're sounding like a set of marimbas. But you're doing it with a little bit of tone and a little bit of you're fitting the notes as well. You're not just percussion. You're percussion, but you got the right tone as well. So that's some basic ideas you can do with guitar during that song, at least as far as not doing a solo, just the accompaniment. You just don't want to step on top of the bass unless it's purposeful. For example, as you're turning that whole chord around at the very end, or turning that progression around, at the very end it goes bum 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 bum. As it comes back to the C, from the G to the C, the bass goes bum bum bum, space, then G, then C. But the acoustic or the guitar that I heard in one studio recording sound like this. Bum 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 bum. It throws an extra G at the end to kind of bring it back around. The bass does it, but leaves a hole, and the guitar fills it in with that extra G, so the bass goes bum 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 bum. But the electric guitar goes bum 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 bum. So So it's a nice interplay of doubling up and let one instrument leaving a space for the other instrument to fill up. And if you wanted to, maybe during a heavier section, you could just do exactly what the bass guitar is doing. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. And it'd be a good exercise to learn that anyhow. And it'll give it a different sound. Both instruments doing that. You just don't want to do it all the time. One other thing electric guitar can do is just take the simple chords and arpeggiate them. Arpeggio is a fancy word for saying making a chord and just plucking one string at a time. Then on the G, then an A minor, then an F. And that would sound cool too, as long as it's not overdriving. It's almost like an organ. It's just like a solid, filled sound in the background. It's not standing out, but it's just providing that base of harmonic material for everything else to ride upon. So, oh wait, wrong chord. And you can pick that either way, down or up. You could go. And depending on what you want to do, that's an option. It's not very hard. You just pick individual strings. And you don't have to worry about it, because any string you hit by accident, as long as you're making the chord, is going to sound right. So just slap your hand away and hit whatever you want. Just make it a nice, nice gentle sound. It's going to fit right in. Just a couple ideas. That's all. Thanks.